Alarming news for homeowners. February 2024 is set to bring the dreaded escrow analysis for homeowners, and millions could face skyrocketing monthly payments, bankruptcy, and even a housing market flooded with new listings. So a new survey revealed 56% of homeowners already saw escrow increases in the past year, thanks to surging insurance premiums, property taxes, and inflation. Now, what I'm worried about is that this financial strain could push some over the edge, with bankruptcy becoming a worst case scenario. But stick around until the end because we're going to be talking about the worst case scenario, bankruptcy, and also discuss the assets creditors might target, possibly even your home. But don't worry though, as there are some pretty important exceptions that you need to know about. This is crucial information, so definitely stay tuned. Property tax payments are on the rise. Check this out.
Hillsborough County property appraiser Bob Henriquez tells me, ultimately, the housing market dictates a property's value.
Our assessments are based on the market, based on how much a piece of property would sell for between a willing buyer and a willing seller.
And when the value goes up, so does your tax bill. Henriquez says in 2019, the median sale price was around $259,000 for a single-family home in Hillsborough County. As of January 1st of 2022, that number jumped to around $385,000.
Up and down the road across from us, they're $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 houses, and 15 years ago, they were $250,000, $300,000 houses. So it's really, the pace of the price increase has really accelerated.
Over the last year, Hillsborough County reports taxable value is up around 16%. Meanwhile, Pasco County reports a 16.7% jump in its assessed values, and Pinellas County's taxable values rose 13.14%.
I mean, I don't think I have to tell you guys, as you're probably hearing about it already. But still, does this not remind anyone of you'll own nothing and be happy? It's like they're pricing the middle class out of homes, out of cars, and even out of meat sometimes. Before long, it's just going to be only like the 1% and the poor. Now, honestly, it's kind of uncanny how the science fiction stories that we kind of grew up with are starting to become a reality for many Americans. And it's all coming to a head next month. So watch out, guys. I'm talking about the escrow analysis that's coming in February 2024 that could lead a lot of American homeowners facing shortfalls in their escrow accounts as costs rise. So let me know if this story sounds familiar. So a Florida homeowner got a notice from her mortgage lender that her escrow account that held the funds to pay her homeowner's insurance and property taxes was short by $3,522 because her insurance premiums had increased. The shortage meant that their mortgage payment would have to increase by $800 a month unless she paid the entire shortfall up front. She did with her savings, but 6 months later, her escrow was short again by another $1,792, which she again paid from savings. Now, Florida is talking about another 40 to 60% increase in homeowners insurance, and the lady that we're talking about, she's not sure if she can afford another shortage. Now, this is a very common story from homeowners lately. As they found out in a survey from data analytics company J.D. Power and Associates, 56% of homeowners indicated that their escrow payment increased in the last 12 months. Mine included. This is up from 51% in 2021 and 49% in 2020. Now, this is a whole mix of factors, really. Increases in homeowners insurance premiums from natural disasters and inflation, and higher property tax assessments after home prices shot up during the hot pandemic housing market. Now, the problem is just how much the shortfalls are causing financial strain for some homeowners who, let's face it, guys, have already had their budget stretched from inflation in the last few years. An escrow account shortfall is kind of like a surprise bill for your house, except it can snowball into a major financial headache. When the account meant for property taxes and insurance runs dry, missed payments means penalties and potential legal action. Your lender might even demand a lump sum payment to hike up your mortgage payment, tightening your budget like a vice. So this is why some people call owning a home that you'll live in a total scam, as it's arguably the only investment type where you pay annual taxes on unrealized capital gains. Needless to say, this financial squeeze can make it very hard to manage other debts, pushing some homeowners toward bankruptcy. The damage doesn't even stop there. Your credit score takes a hit. It's making future loan payments even tougher and potentially leading to foreclosure. So it definitely pays to stay vigilant with your escrow account. Now, if you want to stay ahead of the curve and unlock the secrets of successful home ownership, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll be sharing all my tips, tricks, and expert advice to help you guys make the most out of your home investment. And we're not done with this one either. We're still going to be talking about all the exemptions that you could possibly qualify for in case those creditors come for your home. That That's later in this video, so definitely stick around. So following the purchase of a home with a mortgage, lenders typically set up an escrow account to handle property taxes and insurance. Now, a portion of that monthly mortgage payment is reserved in this account until payments for taxes and insurance, usually occurring annually, are due. Think of it like a neutral third party holding on to some of your cash, kind of like a responsible roommate for your finances. So the goal is to have enough money saved up to pay them smoothly when those bills arrive. So usually this means covering homeowners insurance and property taxes for at least 2 months. But as you all know, life happens and things can get a little bit dicey. So here's the rub. So escrow is based on what you paid the year before, and let's face it, things change. Economic factors like inflation, they play a role in these costs. In 2022, homeowners insurance premiums rose by 10.72% in the first quarter. This is attributed to inflation and the surge in natural disasters that were linked to climate change. This could leave your escrow account a little bit short, prompting your lender to either bump up your mortgage payment, your monthly payment, or even ask for a lump sum top up. And inflation definitely isn't helping. Building materials, labor prices, they're pricier than ever, making it even more expensive to rebuild a home after, say, a very nasty storm. Inflation has impacted construction materials and labor costs, with the average construction cost of a typical single-family home reaching a historic high of $153 per square foot in 2021. That's a 43% increase from 2019. So this translates to higher insurance premiums, which in turn puts more pressure on that escrow account. It's also costing more and more, and it's taking longer to rebuild homes after a covered loss, especially in areas where natural disasters are happening more and more frequently and at greater intensity due to climate change. A CoreLogic study estimates that annual losses nationwide could increase to $23.5 billion per year by 2050 from now. Faced with increased costs, insurers are passing this on to homeowners in the form of higher premiums. In some cases, insurers are leaving certain markets altogether. Now, we talked about this before, the mass insurance exodus in some states. So for instance, State Farm recently announced that it would no longer issue new policies in California due to wildfire risk, and last year, AIG announced its intention to exit California homeowners market. Florida homeowners as well, guys. Recently, Florida's state-run insurer of last resort, Citizens, announced that it was dropping customers. They're especially seeing several carriers pulling out of coastal areas up and down the East Coast, like South Carolina when UPC discontinued coverage. When fewer insurers exist, it pretty much becomes a graphical monopoly with little competition to help keep a lid on the premium increases. Another factor adding to those escrow shortfalls is the property tax component. States that don't have property taxes locked in can see an increase in property taxes as a result of people coming into their state from other states that are driving up property tax assessments. So thanks to this whole housing market boom during the pandemic and of course the rise of remote work, people have been moving around within the country, causing home prices to go up in certain areas. And since property taxes are tied to property values, some homeowners might feel the impact immediately because states assess property taxes at different times. But for some homeowners, the increase is already happening. Last year, $339.8 billion in property taxes were levied on single-family homes in 2022. This is an increase of 3.6% from the $328 billion in 2021, according to Adam, which curates land, property, and real estate data. That was more than double the 1.6% increase in 2021. So this translates to $3,901 on the single-family home, a 3% increase after rising 1.8% the previous year. Even if your state has low property taxes, your location within that state may have higher property taxes. State collections make up 31.1% of property taxes. Meanwhile, local tax collections contribute 71.7%, according to the Tax Foundation. So for example, homeowners in San Antonio, Texas average $3,941 in property taxes, but homeowners in Austin have the fifth largest property tax in the United States, paying a median average of $6,397 according to a study by LendingTree. I remember talking to this lady and she was telling me about how the property taxes going up is a good thing because of all the government services that they're going to fund. I asked her if she's having problems paying rent. She says that it's not a problem as she can go live with her ex. People literally cannot see the causation here. Others, they're opting to move out of the country altogether. There are other ways to reduce costs though. Some states and municipalities have property tax relief programs if you have a disability, limited income, or maybe you're a veteran or a senior citizen. These are known as property tax exemptions. Now sure, homeowners can appeal a property tax assessment, but hiring a lawyer can be pretty expensive. So before you go out there and buy a home, make sure you do everything you can to lower those homeowners insurance premiums, especially if you happen to be buying in a disaster-prone area. That means getting all disclosures from the seller of the home. So here's just some of the questions you should be asking. Is your home located in a fire zone, and to what extent? How far away is the closest fire zone, and how does your home's proximity to it affect hazard insurance premiums? Is your home in a flood area, and how close is the nearest flood zone? If it's close, have a land surveyor ensure that the house is outside of a floodplain. Whether you're already settled in your home or you're on the lookout for a new insurance provider, there are a few choices available. When it comes to dwelling coverage, it's based on the cost of rebuilding your home, excluding the land value. To trim down your premium, you can avoid including the land value in replacement building costs. Other options would be considering a higher deductible, utilizing a replacement cost estimator, and adjusting your personal property coverage, especially if your belongings don't add to the average value of $250,000. But you have to remember to be careful about raising your deductible if you reside in an area that's prone to disasters. In such cases like facing a hurricane, a higher deductible could mean shelling out $30,000 from your pocket before insurance coverage kicks in, potentially leading to difficult decisions such as selling your home. Now, what about the worst case scenario and that coming escrow analysis forces you to declare a bankruptcy? Knock on wood. Well, here are all of the non-exempt assets that may be used to repay your creditors in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy: vehicles, land, houses, investment properties, savings accounts, any other items of value like artwork or jewelry. You can keep a certain amount of these things thanks to federal and state bankruptcy exemptions though. For property, your primary insurance should be exempt when filing for bankruptcy if its equity is below the exemption limit. You can protect $27,900 of your equity in your home under federal exemptions. The homestead exemption can apply to your primary residence, which is defined as a house or another dwelling, personal property used as a residence. So what do you guys think? Are you ready for that escrow analysis that's coming? Drop your thoughts and maybe even your questions in the comment section below. I'll be sure to read them and come up with a follow-up video for you guys. More real estate information and financial analysis coming, I promise. Just make sure you always tune in, hit the subscribe button, and tap that notification bell. I'll see you guys on the next one.